Hello and welcome to our consumer guide for normal people, hosted by One Roof Financial. I'm Caroline Eburn, partner and mortgage and protection advisor. Hello and welcome to another episode of our podcast. Today we are going to be talking about income protection and just the basics around that, what it is and what it covers you for. So income protection is another form of insurance policy that you can take out. It replaces your income in the event that you cannot go to work due to incapacity. So whether that be illness, injury, or accident. So how income protection works is if you cannot work beyond a certain length of time, so you set that at the beginning, the insurance company will then step in after that period and make payments to you, called a monthly benefit. So the shortest deferred period that a lot of insurance companies offer is what's called 4 weeks deferred, which means that you are off for 4 weeks poorly before you can start claiming. And then you can have a longer waiting period to reduce the price down. So income protection, in simple terms, is personal sick pay. So I think a lot of companies now can't afford to pay their employees if they're off work sick, because if they're not working in the business and doing their job, they've got to pay somebody else too. So I think the more clients I see, the more it's becoming apparent that for the general public, they don't get sick pay benefits from their employers. So I'm joined here today by Lucy Moore again, our mortgage and protection advisor, and she is going to cover some more key points for us. So why have it and what the key benefits are.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Caroline. So, like Caroline said, if you don't get sick pay from your employer, how would you pay your bills? So, with income protection, it's normally approximately 65% of your income that you're able to sort of be covered for, and after your deferred period, so let's say it's 4 weeks, then you would be able to claim and receive the money in, and that can cover the shortfall that you have. And you can, basically, if you have a mortgage, it just means that you can still make your mortgage payments and your other bills. You won't be, kicked out of your house, as well as being ill or, suffering from an injury. So income protection is something that if you have it, it can really, really help you out. And you can claim on it for life as well. So if you have an injury that you are going to suffer from the rest of your life, if you can't do your own occupation, so the job that you've been trained to do, then the policy will pay out until your retirement, you return to work, or you die. So income protection is long term, as well as it's a long-term policy.
Yeah. So you can either claim for short periods and then you go back, or you can claim for the whole entire length of the policy.
Exactly.
So it's completely tailored around, what do you need now? So what's the circumstance now? Once you've took out an income protection policy, you can have what's called guaranteed premiums, which means that you are guaranteeing that price for your entire life, even if you've claimed, because they can't take the policy away from you if you've made a claim. So they can't say, oh, we'll want rid of them now because they've claimed for a few years and, we don't want them to keep claiming. They can't take the policy away from you if you keep paying your monthly premiums, which is one of the fantastic things about income protection. It gives you a lot more certainty and a lot more security going through your working life. I think what's important to tell the listeners is own occupation isn't available to everybody. So Lucy mentioned earlier that it would pay out if you can't do your own job, so the job you're trained for. Some occupations are a lot more risky, and the insurance company can apply different types of definition, they're called. Yeah. And one of them's called suited occupation, which means that, you're poorly and you can't do your own job, but you're suited to a different job based on your skills and qualifications. So they'd say, well, go and do that job if you can. The worst type of definition you can have is what's called activities of daily living, or like a working tasks, which means that you have to prove you're unable to do certain tasks. So it might be that you can't do 4 out of six tasks. Each policy is slightly different. So if you wanted us to have a look and see, what definition you've got, you just need to contact us. But the own occupation is the gold star. It's the gold standard, and that is what everybody hopes to get when they're taking out income protection.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the one that you want, and that's the one we'll do our best to get for you as well.
Absolutely. So, in terms of pitfalls, unlike if any of you tuned into our critical illness podcast, that is a very, very different policy to income protection. Income protection, the main pitfalls are that you aren't ill for long enough, so can't make a claim. So if you have your deferred period set at 4 weeks and you're off for 3, you can't claim. So you have to be ill for longer than what you've set that deferred period at. It could be that you didn't get own occupation. So whilst you can't do the job you're currently doing, it might be that you have to go and do something different. But other than that, there's very few pitfalls with income protection because it's not calculated on, you haven't got the right type of illness. So it covers a lot more things, anything that could keep you off work for the length of your deferred period. So most claims it varies from provider to provider, but generally accidents is one of the biggest things. So being in a car accident, being in a road traffic accident, slipping down the stairs.
I was just going to say.
Wearing their moccasin slippers down the stairs and slipping all the way.
Oh, personal experience coming through now.
But yeah, so unlike critical illness, where most of the claims are for cancer, actually with income protection, it's general accidents that we can cause ourselves. Very similar to house insurance in that way.
Exactly.
But if Lucy just wants to go through some other kind of key stats on this.
Yeah, brilliant. So like Caroline said, accidents is sort of the most common claim that we found just from a few providers we've looked into. And some other common ones are sort of back and spine related, as it's obviously a very sensitive part of your body and everyone seems to have back problems. And then also some muscle or skeletal issues as well. And something a lot of people don't know is that income protection actually would pay out for anxiety and depression related problems as well. So if you, for example, were off work due to anxiety, let's say, if you were off for your deferred period and longer, then you would be eligible to claim, as long as that isn't an exclusion on your policy. As in, so if, for example, you may have had previous mental health problems and then they may exclude it, or they may there may be special terms for that. But in general, if you were to face those problems or, have an accident or hurt your back, then that is something you would be able to claim on as long as it hadn't been excluded. Also, just to another quick stat from my corner is that 87.2% of income protection claims are paid. So the main reasons for not paying out are often you may not be off work for long enough. So some people may have, let's say, a 6-month deferred period to reduce the price, and then after 5 months to go back to work. Well, they wouldn't be eligible because they weren't off for the full period. So that's just something to be aware of. Another reason might be that upon the application, the disclosure of information might not have been accurate. So there's a medical application that's done before every application and for every policy, and they will ask a multitude of different questions, and if you answer them incorrectly, then they may not pay out when it actually comes to claiming. So it's just very important to make sure that the information that they're asking is accurate. And another possible reason for a claim not being paid is if the income 12 months immediately prior to the claim is not what it was stated as on the application. So if, for example, you said your income was 30,000, but you actually started working part-time not long after you took the policy out and you only actually earn 25,000 now, then the amount that you're claiming for may be reduced because you aren't earning enough. So you can only sort of claim 65% of your income. So if that was to reduce, then obviously you're almost getting paid full, aren't you? So, And then if that was the case, everyone would be, off sick, claiming as much as they could. So.
Exactly. They can't allow you to be richer off work than you are working. So that's why those restrictions are in place. Otherwise, again, there's no encouragement to go back to work. But I think what a lot of these insurance companies do, which is fantastic, is they support you in getting back to work.
Yes.
So there are extra services that they offer. Some of them even offer chiropractor appointments, physiotherapy, counselling. So I think what the insurance companies are, they're very supportive and they do try and assist you in getting back to work. So again, when we talk to our clients about this, we can tell them about the value added services, they're called. Some of them even offer GP appointments remotely, video through your phone, and a prescription service, and they are fantastic.
I can't say the word nutritionalist, nutrition coach. The multitude of different things that they offer. It's not just replacing your income if you're off sick. They do so much to try and help you and get you back to work as best they can. So the policies are extremely underrated, and it's something that we would definitely recommend for our clients if it's suitable. Yeah, definitely.
When we were looking into the stats for this particular podcast, we found that on average, with one of the insurance companies we looked at, the average claimant for income protection was 40, so my very own age. And it came after just 4 years of holding the policy. So there are people who claim, there are people that benefit from it, and there are people that can never return to their jobs and receive a payment until their retirement age, which can mean keeping their home or not. So state benefits now are nowhere near what the average salary is in the UK. So all of a sudden you could be on £30,000 a year, dropping down to £96 a week. And it's such a fall, especially single people, so homeowners that have no other income to rely on. It's income protection is the bread and butter. It's the absolute bread and butter of all insurance policies. Statistically, you're way more likely to be off work for 2 months or longer than you are to have a critical illness or die. So income protection is the single most important insurance policy for most people. So if you have an income, there's a need to protect that income. And I say to clients will say, "Oh, but I don't know if I can afford it." Well, if you can't afford to have the insurance policy whilst you're earning all your money, how are you going to afford anything on £96 a week?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's just really important for people to put the money in the right area.
Yeah.
So, I see on people's bank statements every TV streaming channel available, and they're quite happy to spend 200 quid a month on their TV packages and all this, that and the other, but yet won't protect the very thing that pays for all of those things.
Yeah.
So income protection is incredibly important. And as I mentioned earlier, it does differ massively to critical illness. They're not even in the same ballpark. Critical illness is very much a life-threatening, you've had this horrible illness, here's some money, and it either meets the definition or not. Income protection is way more widespread. It covers so much more. As Lucy mentioned, it does cover mental health issues if not excluded from the policy. It can exclude back problems, again, if not previously excluded. It really does cover a much wider range of illnesses. So again, someone says, well, which one do I have? Why have both? What's the point? Income protection is the single most important policy. If all of your budget and all of everything that you said, right, well, I only want to pay this amount per month, if that can only afford income protection, that's all you have, and that's all we'd recommend. If you have extra budget, then yes, add on critical illness, bolt some on. But for us, if you have no sick pay from your employer, it's income protection all the way.
Exactly. Yeah, because we're helping you get the mortgage advisors, and we need to do our best to make sure that if the worst was to happen, if you were to suffer from an illness or an injury, then you'd still be able to stay in the property, and it wouldn't get repossessed. So, we feel very strongly about income protection, don't we, Caroline?
Yeah, we're big advocates. It's a fantastic policy. I have clients who are claiming on their policies. I now have such first-hand experience of this policy and how it can massively help somebody. So it really is a fantastic policy to consider. So that is all for today's podcast. Thank you so much for Lucy. I appreciate all of your assistance today, and we'll see you again soon.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. One Roof Financial LLP is an appointed representative of Primis Mortgage Network, a trading name of First Complete Limited, which is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. Your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. We usually charge a fee for mortgage advice. The amount of the fee will depend upon your circumstances and will be discussed and agreed with you at the earliest opportunity.